Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is Sammy and Ralph here with Savvy Voyages, and today we are going to talk about an excursion that we did on our own when we recently went to the Bahamas.
Exactly. Now, most people would try to convince you that you should be paying for an excursion, but we chose not to. This was specifically a budget family cruise, and we wanted to see what could we get in without having to pay extra. And I think with proper planning, we had a lot of fun. So we're gonna kind of walk you guys through how we set it up and show you guys what we actually saw while we were there.
Yeah.
All right.
And we made it back on the ship on time.
Way before time.
Yes.
So everything worked out. All right, so as we said earlier, this trip is a budget-friendly family trip. So we had to choose to do something at this port that was family-friendly, something that we could all handle, and something that we would all find interesting, but at the same time, keep the budget really super low. So we decided to go to two of, not the most popular locations, but a lot of people like to go to these two locations, and they are
the Queen's Staircase and Fort Fincastle.
Fort Fincastle.
Yes.
All right, sounds interesting. So now typically, if you want to book an excursion to go to these locations, the cost ranges between, let's say, $40 and upwards of $60-ish.
Right.
On average. It depends on the cruise. It depends on how popular it is for that cruise.
Yeah.
So that price might move a little bit. And you might find it at a discount, right?
Right.
Like on sale. But that's the typical range for the most part.
Yes. At the time of our particular cruise, this walking tour that consists of these two locations for an adult was $49 per person, and for a child, now a child being the ages of 4 to 12, was $44. So now we're a family of five adults at $50 a head. So
Exactly. So it would cost us about $250. So we decided, okay, let's see if we can pull this off without having to spend that extra cost to go on this little excursion. So how did you set it up?
Okay, so what I did was I went on, obviously I looked up a map of the port. Okay, so the Bahama cruise port. And then from there, you're able to kind of just see all the high points of, the nearest sightseeing areas within the area. And then I pulled out the handy dandy Google Maps and punched in, from the port, I wanted to go to the Fort Fincastle and I wanted to visit the Queen's Staircase, and it just showed me it was about a total of like 18 minutes or so. So this is walking.
Port?
This is from, leaving the port.
Right.
And then from our first location, and then the first location to the next location, and then back to the port of how long it would have.
So it was 18 minutes to get from the port to the first location.
Right, yes.
I got it.
Yes.
I got it. Yeah, and from the first location to the second location was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, because they were really, literally right next to each other.
Side by side.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Now, when you're looking at it on a map, it seems to be a little distance between both sites, but not necessarily. It's about 5 minutes, if that.
Even the locals would tell you, oh no, just go around the corner, and then the next one was there.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, so you took the time to find the locations on Google Maps. We mapped it out. Then we had to ask ourselves a question. Do we want to walk there, or do we want to take like a little cabbie, right? Do we want to pay someone to drop us off?
Right.
Right. Now, the taxis in that area, all of them have like a standard fee, whether they're going to drive 5 minutes or 15 minutes. It's like the baseline is X, right?
Yes.
And that fluctuates. It could be 15, it could be 25, right? Just to step in. So we decided, well, let's cut the cost. We're a reasonably healthy family.
We're walking.
We are walkers. We like to walk every day. So walking 20 minutes for us is barely like a warm up. So, but that is something that you would have to consider as a family. If you have a fairly healthy family, you don't have too many little ones, because we're actually going to talk about why that's important.
Right.
If you have rambunctious little ones, you probably don't want to do this.
No.
We wouldn't recommend it, but we have older kids that know how to follow directions, so it kind of made it doable. Mm-hmm. But if that's not your family, I would consider not. Mm-hmm. You know, so let's kind of walk through how we got there.
Right.
Right. So first you have to obviously get off the ship, and you're walking through the port. You walk through the actual port of Bahamas. You walk through all the little kiosks there, right? All the little stores, and restaurants, and
make it out to the main gate.
Now, when you make it out of the main gate, now as you're walking on the port, you have to turn right, and there's like a long strip. That strip leads you to like an exit gate. From there, as soon as you exit, you pan left.
To the left.
Right.
I think that's the main road, Bay Street.
Yeah, it's like a main.
Yes,
yeah.
Bay
I would
Street
call
was the
it
main road or so.
I think it is. Mm-hmm. I think it is.
That's where all the straw markets and the restaurants and everything is out there. And then, not too far after that, then we kept kind of like walking down the strip. Yeah.
So we left the port area and we went to the next main street over, and from there, I forgot the name of the street, but again, these distances are not that far, right? So one thing that we would like to caution, and this is why, you know, going with kids or like maybe people in a wheelchair, again, I wouldn't a baby carriage, like those things I wouldn't recommend, because it is tough. We actually had one person with a baby. She wasn't a baby.
A toddler.
Yeah, toddler, that we wanted to make sure that we can like harness her. We didn't want her to just kind of get away and just be free roaming, right? So we had her in a little, what do you call those little
stroller?
Strollers, right? And that was really just to keep her safe. But it did make it a little complicated, because as you can see in some of these clips, we had to walk down several, maybe 2 or 3 roads where
there's construction going on.
Not only construction, but there was no real designated
sidewalks,
path, right? And you have traffic going up and down the street. Now, one thing I can say is that the traffic, even though it felt like it was a lot, but they weren't driving fast.
No.
Right? I didn't feel like we were in danger, but it's absolutely something that you should consider.
Yeah.
Right. One sidewalk, we had to walk in a single file because it was maybe 2 feet wide.
Yeah.
And this is a sidewalk, right? So I would definitely be very cautious if you decide to walk to one of these locations.
One of these ones. Another thing too, we want to, let you guys know too, because at the time that we're filming this video, we do understand that the U.S. Travel Advisory did put a warning out for those visiting certain Caribbean islands, right? And that would be, in our case, Bahamas and Jamaica. Now, we're letting you know this but this is mindful of anywhere you go that is not your current home or even your current home, just to be careful not to try to stand out. Please travel in a group if you can. I mean, we were a group of 10 or so even though there was a toddler in the mix, but it was not just 2 people veering off in a neighborhood that we did not know, because things happen.
Exactly.
So please be mindful of that. At the time when we did take this vacation, that travel advisory was not in effect. Okay, because this was back in January of 2023. So for those of you who are watching this video, it would be after the fact.
Right.
So.
But shortly after we came back, that advisory was made public.
Right.
And, but listen, we're saying this because we had to walk through some sketchy areas, right? Areas that most people would feel uncomfortable to walk down, especially if you're from like a different walk of life. For us, it wasn't that scary, not only because we were a larger group, but let's face it, we're the same shade of brown as the locals, right? So we're used to the culture. We know how to blend in. We don't necessarily stand out. So we felt comfortable, but even then, it was cautiously comfortable because it still wasn't home, and
Right.
So I say be cautious. It's safe for the most part, but be smart. If you are not that type of person that's used to being in situations like that, it wasn't even a situation, I don't want to say a situation,
Wow.
but being in that environment,
Right.
don't do it.
Yeah.
I would advise against it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Very good. So after all of that, so if you can get through all the traffic, if you can get through the sketchy neighborhoods, you actually get to the first location. We decided to go to the Queen's Staircase first.
Yes.
Now, what's special about the Queen's Staircase?
Now, the Queen's Staircase, from the research that I looked into it, is basically a staircase that was hand carved out by the slaves that inhabited the island how many years ago. And this was during the era of Queen Victoria. So the staircase was built in honor of her or so. And it's like 66 steps and is made out of limestone. And it is beautiful. It is really beautiful to see. And as you can see from these clips that we're gonna insert here, like just the greenery and just to know that it was like hand carved out by, unfortunately, slaves that were there during that time. So it is a beautiful thing to see. So it is quite steep. So once again, there's a lot of walking. And once you get to the staircase, I'm not gonna say there's only one way up or down, but that's up to you.
There's only one way up or down, right?
Really, yeah, because you are the area that we came in was then we had to go down, and then once you reach down the bottom, depending on how you were gonna leave the area, you either had to go back up the staircase and go, or go out the other exit way back to the port.
Exactly.
So we're just saying that in case you have people that, once again, you have bad knees, you have kids that are afraid of heights, like my husband said, no walkers, no wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Because even getting to the Queen's Staircase, it's a steep road coming up, So even if you are walking or if you're pushing someone, you're gonna get ready to work out because it is a steep road to go up to the area when you finally get up there.
Now there are two ways to get to the staircase.
Yeah.
You can, like you kind of mentioned.
Yeah, that other
you can
exit.
you can get there from the bottom of the staircase and work your way up. Now that's a completely different path than what we're showing you right now. The path that we took was to get to the top and work our way down the staircase.
Right.
But I would advise to do it the other way around. Reason being, the second location is actually at the top of the staircase. So,
right.
Exactly. So we kind of did it backwards, but you still get the gist of it. If you took the path that we took, you're gonna go down, but yet come back up again, unless you go to the fort first. Right?
Yeah.
Which is what we should have done.
Yeah, we
right?
didn't know.
That
it
way
was
we
literally
worked our way down and just go.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, nevertheless, beautiful site. Absolutely recommend.
Yes. Make sure you take a picture.
Yeah, definitely take a picture. But one thing that stood out to me at the staircase, when you get to the bottom, there's this nice path leading out, right? Beautiful greenery.
It's just
walls, I don't know how many feet up, really nice. But if you look up at the walls, the side walls, you kind of see these indentations, right? Where it was clearly carved through. And we were told, we haven't confirmed, but we were told that those little indentations were slaves trying to get out of the situation that didn't necessarily make it out. So that was a fun fact. Not very fun.
Not fun. Yeah, but
it was a very interesting fact. Is there anything else factual that we could say? Oh, listen. There's going to be a guy, I don't know if he's there every day, at the top of the staircase. he's going to try to give you information, right, about who built it, why, when, like historical facts.
Right.
Which is very helpful, so you find it interesting. So you stand there and you listen to him talk. If you do listen to him talk,
yes,
he
prepared.
will demand a tip.
Yes.
Right? And this guy is aggressive. If you do not tip him, he will call you out. Right? So, keep that in mind. Again, if he's talking to someone else, which is what we did, we find ways to cut costs, right? So I noticed he was talking to someone else, and I just stood close enough to hear what he was saying. And oh, gosh. And I shared that information with the others, right? Very easy, couldn't ask me for anything because I never made eye contact. But I did notice one thing about this guy. People that were our shade of brown didn't get badgered as much. Maybe because he knows that if we are going to tip, we will. And if we won't, we won't.
Yeah.
But people from other cultural backgrounds did get badgered just a little bit more than I was comfortable with. So definitely keep that in mind and be firm. If you don't want to tip someone that's not doing anything special, don't tip them. Keep walking. Don't feel bad about it. But if you feel like he did something that was beneficial, you can go ahead and tip if you like. But don't tip too much because you ruin it for the rest of us that don't tip as much. All right, pro tip. All right, all right, so we left that location, and from the top of the staircase, we kind of veered right up this path to go to the fort.
Fort Fincastle. Right. Now, the fort, that area was nice too. They had also little shops, little huts where people were selling different goods as well along the castle, but
was it a castle or a
fort? Fort Fincastle, excuse me, fort. But we went inside the fort, and we were able to walk in, and then you see these large cannons. Now, the reason why we picked these two locations, just a side note, that we like to watch historical. I'm into the whole royal family thing, so I love anything British and castles and all that old world. My husband loves all the World War II, I, all that stuff. So we're into forts, cannons, anything of that nature, historic, where we can learn something. And our boys are too. So seeing the fort was very nice.
It was very
yeah,
very
and
cool.
I mean the cannons, to see the cannons in real life, they're kind of big, and then the view, you get a very beautiful view of the whole.
Exactly.
What would you
sure
say
exactly
what it was?
What it is, because we were able to see the cruise ship, right?
Yeah.
But nevertheless, very, very interesting. So you can see that in the eclipse here. We actually had fun. There is a fee to get up into the fort.
Yes, a minimal fee though. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it has to range between $3 and $5 per person. They're not going to give you anything for this fee that you're paying, but you do get a chance to go up into the fort and see what's there and kind of see the view. And it's actually really nice, very photogenic.
Yes, if you're into that.
Taking pictures and stuff like that. So that was fun.
Yeah.
So we left that area and we worked our way down?
Yes, down, passed by the little shops as I mentioned before.
Right.
And then there was another small little, I guess, stand where they were selling drinks or so that you can get. And there were some tables if you need to rest or so before you left that area.
Exactly. But anyway, nevertheless, the excursions were phenomenal. From there, we went all the way back around, went back down the steps, and we
walked right back to the ship.
We went straight back to the ship, and we actually had a great time there. So it cost us, the excursion itself cost us nothing.
Nothing.
Right? It cost us nothing. And that was it. I mean, I wouldn't, if you're not afraid of the walk or the neighborhood, it's actually very pleasant. It wasn't bad at all. So would we do it again that way? Yes.
Yes.
If I wanted to go back to those 2 locations, I would not pay to get there. I would take that walk again.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Agree.
But there are other excursions where you don't have a choice.
Right.
If you want to go swim with pigs, you can't walk
yes,
there.
it is what it
Or
is. Right.
chart your own little boat. It's not gonna happen.
Yes.
So anyway, for this one, cut costs, do it for free, have fun. Just make sure that your family is up for it. If it's just your idea and no one else wants it, don't do it.
Right.
Right. But if your family is good with it, I say go for it and save that whatever amount, and put that towards something else, like another cruise. Right. Anyway, anything else we didn't mention?
No, I think that's about covered it. Yeah.
That's about it. All right. Awesome.
All right. Well, guys, we thank you again for watching. And if you guys have any excursion tips that you've done or you know of, please feel free to share down below. Absolutely. We can always learn from each other here. And as always, guys, stay well and stay savvy.
We know how to bob and weave those tips, right? So we're
not saying that we're cheap here.
Hey, listen. Hey, if you do something extra special, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to make your day. But if you're giving me napkins in a bathroom stall, you can't hand me a napkin with one hand and have the other hand. Where's my tip? It's not going to work. But if you showed me a good time in there, and I didn't come out right, but you know what I mean. If my time there is pleasant and it's because you did something special, it's up to me. I can see the jar there. Do you have to ask?